Hey guys, a happy Friday to you wherever you may be. It's week number 14 in the National Football League, and Benny versus the Penny is officially upon us. I'm one of your hosts, David Gascon. Thank you very much for dropping on by. This broadcast is brought to you by Ecamm Live, a Mac-based application for all your streaming needs. If you'd like some additional information on that for live or on-demand content, click the description below. It's an affiliate link for us. It supports us, and it can provide you with some updated information as well. With that being said, we've crossed a couple of barriers with subscribers and whatnot. So if you'd like to help support the show by clicking on the subscribe button, also hit the notifications right there at the bottom. That'd do tremendous support for us and obviously throughout the rest of this NFL season. With that being said, it was a fantastic week 13 in the National Football League for Ben Maller. I'll let him talk more about that. Ben, what's up, man?
Hey, look at that. We're back at it again. I see the chat filling up. I'm excited here. We're doing this. We'll do it live. I like that we change the time every week, though. I like that to accommodate my schedule, because tonight, to celebrate Hanukkah, I will be playing Santa Claus at a super secret event that I'm not allowed to talk about. So I had to do this early because we have some plans here. So, but I'm excited. Normally, Gascon, when we do the recap of how I did, I try to hurry up through that. But this week, I would like to go slow and easy. I want to methodically slow walk the recap, because finally, it only took me 13 weeks to have that big breakthrough. Now I got to have a couple more before the end of the year, and I'll be in good shape. I'll be in really good shape. I was middling most of the season. I've been middling. I was right around 500. But if you're 500, if you bet every game, which you should never do, but if you're 500 and then you have a couple of big weeks,
yeah,
that's all you need to have a win. I'll take it, and I'm excited to see. Put the numbers up. Come on, guys.
Oh man! So we go week 13 first. We'll take a peek at that. It was a blistering 11-4 for you.
Nice.
A lot of things went your way, and the one that obviously jumped out to me the most was the Jets showing a ton of fire, and they should have won that fucking game, obviously. I don't know how you go cover zero in the closing seconds with the team not having a timeout and less than 30 seconds to go, but Greg Williams is looking for a new job.
I just want to point out here that one of my beliefs is, again, I got away from it for a little bit, is that you have to bet on bad teams to make money in gambling. It sucks, but you have to do it because the underdog. But if you look at that board, you see Jacksonville, the Jets, Washington's a bad team. I took them as well. The Lions, that was the one I really got lucky on, because the Bears were up by 10 with like 2 at field, and Mitch Trubisky decided to take a ride on a vomit comet at the end of that game. So there were a few of them that definitely I got a little bit of sauce going my way, but I was very happy with the weekend. Obviously, it's the top weekend I've had so far. And there's still several weeks to go in the NFL season. So
yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. You got plenty of time left on the clock for you. Week 14 is here, but got to take a look at the overall performances for you. Can't go 1 through 9 just yet, but we'll do that at the end of the season. But as you can see, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. And over 500, as you mentioned. And the blistering week 13, your hottest one, no pun intended there.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, we also want to point out, obviously, when you talk about gambling, money on the juice with that. So we have to be better than that. We have to do better than that because the sweet spot, you need to win. It's about 50. I think it's 54%, give or take. 52.4 is kind of like where you want to, but it's actually going to be higher than that. So you actually make some decent money. So We're not quite there yet. We have some work to do here and we will attack the gambling market, Gascon, is what we're going to do.
We will. And you've had good news over the last week and a half, and you delivered me some good news over the last week and a half from a friend of ours, obviously a supporter of the show, and I wanted to share that with you because we do a lot of things west of the 405, and your friends from out in Kentucky, Tay and Jay, a little letter that they passed along to you, and then myself, perfect, obviously, for the weekend that's upon us. So,
wait. I say, what is that? What is on the upper right-hand corner there? What is that?
that looks like two perfectly seasoned fillets. Like, I know you don't like steak, you're not a meat eater, but that was authentic. It was great, and then the finished product.
Oh God!
You
What
absolutely
a douche! I mean,
have
really?
to
Yeah.
absolutely love that.
You are such a douche. Listen, they didn't send you the steak. You're making it seem like you're just using Kentucky K and Kentucky J to show that you cooked a steak. When they sent, the only thing they sent you was that bourbon, that Kentucky bourbon, right there. And you instead chose to take this opportunity, the opportunist you are, to say, look at how great a chef I am. Look at the steak I made. Look at the photo. And it has nothing to do. It is a non sequitur. It is an absolute non sequitur with Kentucky K and Kentucky J. How dare you? Bad job by you. And how much of that bourbon's left, Gascon? Have you gone through the whole thing yet?
Actually, most of it's still left. I have not dipped my toes into all of it, but I thought it was a nice compliment for the bourbon. So I got a couple steaks out there on the grill, and then boom! Before you know it, here I am. So
I see the chat. The chat is buzzing, Gascon. You know, I'm a man of the people, by the people, for the people, plausibly all about the people. And you are west of the 405. I see Just Josh, one of the Cincinnati bros. He says it's happy hour on the East Coast. Will there be appetizers? Yeah, this is a great test because when I first got into network radio, I remember Tom Lee was the boss, and I went to his office. He was the guy running Fox Sports Radio, and he had this big map, and it had like the population of the United States where everyone resided. And he pointed out, he said, look at the Eastern time zone. That's where most of the people live. So we are accommodating the masses is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're accommodating the masses. And it's still very early out here on the West Coast.
And you said this to me off the air, but we could bring it on the air now. So it's not happy hour anywhere. It's considered picnic time everywhere. Since
That's right.
Can't technically dine inside or outside anymore.
Listen, this is a wonderful thing that some of the restaurants in LA have done. You can't really do this in New York or Boston or in the Northeast. You can't really do it. And then anywhere in the Northeast core. Hey, by the way, speaking of the Northeast, did you see that Tom Brady said he will never play in the Northeast again?
Never again.
He took he took a shot. I mean, holy Bill Belichick, holy Foxborough Batman. But no, the restaurants, a number of them in LA, unfortunately west of the 405, where outdoor dining is over. So we've set up tables, and you can have a picnic is what you can have. You can have a picnic, and that's wonderful. I love that. Ingenuity, right? Ingenuity. Oh, I think it's outstanding.
I think the only thing that bothers me about it is, I mean, this is obviously perfect for this example since we talk gambling. It's like when you go to Vegas, you're playing 21 and you have 20, the dealer's showing 10 or an ace, and she offers you insurance. Like, you don't take the insurance, but now with this outdoor dining or picnic thing, you got to believe that these restaurants are probably paying for these permits a hefty price to allow any kind of dining within the local area.
Yeah. Well, it's like that old adage we heard when we were kids. Like those old adages actually are real. Like the necessity is the mother of invention, right? So they're like, hey, I need to make money, so let's have a picnic. There you go. They should hand out little disposable picnic baskets to the people when they pick up their food.
I don't know, man. It'll turn into like New Year's like the last couple of years.
I will say, not to get political, Gascon, because this is a football show.
Yes.
But this is more what we've seen with the politicians in the United States, and I guess the world, but I live in the United States, is that the pen is mightier than the sword. They just write, they write some proclamations and declarations, and they can screw everyone's life up who own small businesses. So it's crazy. Wild.
Well, you got some things to discuss. You're Benny by the clock, on the clock, so we've accommodated you in that capacity. What do you think about the new place?
What do I think? What are you talking about? What do you?
The new assemble. I mean, you got this new stuff here in front of you. It makes you look good, sound good, speeds up your internet a little bit.
No. It only took me. I'm a little slow, Gascon. So it only took me. How many months have we been doing this? It's now December.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took me approximately 3 months. Is it 3 months we've been doing this? It took me 3 months to finally figure out how to present a YouTube broadcast that doesn't blow. So that's exciting. That's exciting.
And the good news is at least it's progressing and trending in the right direction as opposed to the other way around. So
see, when you send these clips out, Gascon, to try to get that big TV job, these are the clips you should send out, not the other stuff. You should delete everything we've done up until this point. You should hit the eject button on, because finally we have something that's halfway decent. So and it's all powered by eCam and all that, right? So
yes. It's a good segue because we need to kick things off and get trivial with the masses to open up the show.
Yeah, trivia. Let's get trivia. Trivial. All right, so the guys in the chat, I see the chat's filling up. Remember, thumbs up, by the way. Thumbs up if you're watching the live show or the tape show, because this is rebroadcast. It's available whenever you want it. So you see the trivia there. I am the only player in NFL history with 8 receiving touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns, and 8 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Who am I? That is the question. What is the answer? And you can send your answers in the chat. I see you posting some of that there. Queen Roxanne's excited about the picnic. And Valentine, I see Valentine. Why'd you go 11-4? I stopped believing you. See, just when you stop believing, that is when the magic happens. It takes place there. Let's see, who else do we have? I'm looking at some of the. I saw you put this up there. The late night drug tester. We need weather with Roberto to forecast outdoor. Hey, I got a great story for you. The P1s and the Maller Militia. So last night Weedman couldn't get through because I guess the lines were full and there was no line open for Weedman to call in. We did the lame jokes. So we had the fake Weedman, and originally we thought that was Ed from Spokane. It was not Ed from Spokane. You know who it was? This is great.
I wish I could say it was Marlon's band, but it's not. Who was it?
No, it was Roberto. Roberto was eating food, drinking. He was up all night listening to the show, and he called in as a gag, and he was fake Weedman while he was eating his fried chicken. But Roberto, the food pictures he posted, my God. I mean, I haven't eaten since Wednesday, and I'm like, holy crap, I want to eat a whole bucket of fried chicken. My God. It's amazing. That was homemade fried chicken. That looked good.
On your heaviest day, what's your go-to fried chicken? Is it Raising Cane's? Is it KFC? Like, where do you go?
Well, you understand, when I was at my fattest, Raising Cane's did not exist, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was a bucket of KFC, potato wedges. I like that popcorn chicken.
Yes.
You could just take a whole handful and shove it in your mouth. And so I enjoyed that back in the day. Jonathan says, oh my God, these graphics are amazing. The stream looks so good. Thank Gascon. Wow, what an idiot that guy is. Can we block him from the chat? All right, some of the answers coming in. Frank in LA, he's the Charger apologist. He's going with Merton Hanks as his answer. Tito Santana from Dan, that's his guess. Just Josh, one of the Cincinnati bros, having a cocktail, says Tim Tebow is the answer. The Flunky Flashman says the Junkyard Dog. Thump. Who else do we have? Pierre, the alien opiner's friend of Alf, says fake Weedman was up and down. Flunky Flashman also, he had a couple guesses. He said Donkey Sausage was his guess. All right, we better get on with the show here. What do we have? Derek, by the way, wants to know why John Deere is not sponsoring this. Yeah, for those of you, by the way, if you have not seen on the Facebook page or the Instagram page, our friend in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area, Half pint. I asked her for permission on the show last night, and she said okay. She sent me some photos. But yeah, there's the answer, Cordero Patterson of your Chicago Bears. But Half Pint sent a bunch of photos, and so I asked if I could use it on the show, and she said yeah. So we put a photo up. It's the only one I could put up. The other photos are all blurry with beer drinking. I think beer drinking Brian was the one taking the photos, and he's 10 sheets gone to the wind. So why not? But let's get on with the games. Yes, let the picking begin.
Yes, we go Tennessee and Jacksonville first on the menu.
All right, so Tennessee, you see the numbers there, 8-4. Jacksonville, 1-11. It's on CBS. Is this the Spiro Adidas game?
Man, it tells me it is. 1-11, I got to think it is. Right out of the gate.
Yeah, right out of the gates. This is the Spiro Adidas game. Now, Spiro Adidas has replaced Dick Stockton because Dick doesn't call games every week. We used to play the Dick Stockton game because he would always do the worst games of the week. But now it's the Spiro Adidas game. Spiro Adidas and Adam Archuleta have the call on CBS. The Tennessee Titans opened up a point favorite in this game. They are favored by 9. The Jags are on a 10-game losing streak. I am going to pick them, though. They got me some money last week against Minnesota. They came back, forced overtime. I'm going to take Jacksonville again. They have been very profitable for gamblers. Jacksonville's covered 3 of the last 5. All 4 of those against the spread wins came as an underdog. All 4 of their against the spread wins came as an underdog of 7 or more points. And they've got Mike Glennon, the draft, at quarterback. Now, I'm certainly not going to sit here and advocate for Mike Glennon, but the one thing Glennon's been doing here is throwing the deep ball. And, what do you have to lose? You might as well huck it and chuck it down the field. 24% of his throws against Minnesota went for 20 or more yards downfield. That was tops in the entire league during Week 13. And so Doug Marrone's done anyway. He's going to lose his job as coach at the end of the year. And he is sticking with Mike Glennon, even though it's in the best interest of Jacksonville to continue to lose these games. And they will lose the game, but divisional game, getting over a touchdown. The main reason, there's 2 main reasons to not have confidence in the Titans in this game. One of them is Ryan Tannehill. And while Tannehill's been very good with Tennessee, if you look at him in this situation in his career, he has not been very good. As a big favorite, Tennessee's a 9-point favorite. That's a big number. That's a pretty big number. And as a 9-point favorite, he's been a 9-point favorite, or he's been a 5-point, not even 9, 5 or more in 14 games. Tannehill's been favored by 5 points or more, and his record against the spread is 4-10. That's a 286 winning percentage. And Tennessee's defense, they're not stopping anybody. You think all of a sudden they're going to get a pass rush and they're going to be able to get the ball down the field? I don't buy it. They lost the game. Well, last time they were favored by a touchdown, which I believe is the only time they lost outright to the Bengals and Joe Burrow. So Jacksonville, what I'm trying to say is they should score enough where if you're getting almost 10 points, how can you not take that? Tennessee will win the game. Jacksonville will keep it close. This is one of my best bets, by the way. Very dangerous to make Jacksonville one of your best bets, but I love getting 9. So I will take the points, and I will take the Titans to win it, but Jacksonville to cover. Tennessee 28, Jacksonville 27. And the Penny pick.
Don't get cocky after last week. Penny's going with the Tennessee Titans in this one. A.J. Brown was back at practice today.
I'm not getting cocky, man. I'm just pointing out facts.
Right out of the gate, your best bet is Jacksonville. It's ballsy.
I got more than one best bet. I got a lot of best bets. All right. The next game we have, this is only for the Cincinnati bros that we're doing this. Dallas 3-9 at Cincinnati. It's on Fox. You better watch. Kevin Kugler and Chris Spielman have the call. The Cowboys opened a 3.5-point favorite. There's been hardly any movement on this game. In fact, the line has stayed the same. So you got the Cowboys and a hook, 3 and a hook. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s. It's going to be cool and clear at Paul Brown Stadium on Sunday at kickoff in Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bengals here. This is a matchup. Yeah, on one side, you have manure, and the other side, you have fertilizer. and it's like manure versus fertilizer, just like that. So something's got to give here. And both these teams are thinking they're going to get top 3 picks, and they're in position to move up. And, well, Cincinnati's already got the second worst record, or they're right behind Jacksonville. So they're third, actually. Dallas, I believe, is fourth. But this is the backup quarterback bowl. Both starting quarterbacks lost for the year for the Bengals and the Cowboys. But how can you believe in the Cowboys? They're 2-10 against the number this year. 2-10, 1-7 against the spread. Their last 8 going back to last year. Mike McCarthy's team is 0-6 in their last 6 games as a favorite. So if you just bet the dog in Cowboy games over the last 10 years, going all the way back over the last 10 years, you would have won 600% of your bets. You would have a 60% winning percentage. The underdog has dominated in Cowboy games, and I see that continuing here. Now, the thing that led me to believe, originally I was on the Cowboys at the start. When I started looking at this game, I was like, well, the only motivation I see is Andy Dalton. This is his big game, right? For Andy Dalton, the former Bengal, to go back, the beleaguered Bengal, to go back and play his old team. So I did try to find a way to bet on Dallas, but there's no way I can bet on the Cowboys because they don't play with any kind of enthusiasm. They don't play with any kind of effort. You didn't get up for a primetime game on a short week, and now you're going to get up to play the Bengals? Nobody gets up to play the Bengals. Are you kidding me? So I expect a low-effort performance again, and I'm going to close my eyes here, cover my eyes. This is a field goal game. You're getting over a field goal, so I will take Brandon Allen and friends. The Cowboys are dead last in the NFL in points allowed per game. So even Cincinnati should be able to score. Keep in mind, though, the Bengals' defense is not much better than the Cowboys, but I will take the points when 2 bad teams play. And I think the Bengals will actually screw things up here and actually win this game. Bengals 30, Cowboys 27. Don't bet.
Penny is going with the Dallas Cowboys. Are you going to watch this game at all?
Tester? No, I'm not going to watch this game at all. Late night drug tester writes, I'm not going to bet on it. I'm not going to watch it. The late night drug tester says this setup is better than Michael B. Jordan's acting. How about that?
It's a good shout out last night. Jason Smith, one of our colleagues, is absolutely in love with Michael B. Jordan for some weird reason, but took some shots at him.
I didn't hear that. Who else do we have here? Frank says, I'd rather be blind than watch the Cowboy Bengal game. Cowboy Dan wants a word with you. That's from Marquise. Yeah. Let's just hope the Cowboys don't win any more games because then we'll have all those Cowboy clowns that will come out of the woodwork. All right, next up, your guy, the little fella, the Oompa Loompa, and the Arizona Cardinals as they take on the Giants. You see the records there. Giants 5-7. It's on Fox. You better watch with Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma. They've got the call. Cardinals open up a 3-point road favorite. They're favored by 1.5. Temperatures in the low 60s at kickoff. There's a slight chance of rain and a very windy day forecast in Jersey. Wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour, which could affect that little arm of the Cardinals quarterback at MetLife Stadium. Now, I'm going to take the Giants in this game. The only reason not to like the Giants is they're still smelling themselves after that win against Seattle, which was unexpected with Colt McCoy. The Giants are 7-2 against the spread since October 4th. They've been sneaky good for the gambling market, and they've been in just about every one of these games. And this is a short point spread. Arizona is a slight favorite. The Giants' last 4 losses have all been by 3 points or less for Joe Judge, the coach. And Big Blue has 7 straight covers. So 7 in a row the Giants have covered. The Cardinals have no covers in their last 5. So you could say they're due. I don't believe in that. And Daniel Jones is back, keeping up with the Joneses. I'm not a big Daniel Jones guy, the stumble bum quarterback for the Giants. But he practiced today from what I was told, and he's going to return and play in this game instead of Colt McCoy. That is over with. The Giants, they have cleaned up their act, and that has led to them winning some more games recently. The Giants had 15 turnovers and 10 takeaways their first 8 games. So -5. The last 4 games, they've committed only 2 turnovers, and they have 10 takeaways, +8. And it's amazing that they're winning when you do that. Shocking. And then the second thing here, finally, after me preaching, people are finally realizing that Kyler Murray is a gimmick quarterback. Alligator arms Murray. He has the inability to pick up yards on the ground, and he's unable to short arm wins with his little tiny arm there, and it's killing the offense. And teams, I mentioned this in a monologue the other day, that teams have figured out how to defend Kyler Murray. They've gotten the book on Kyler Murray, and the Rams did this, and we imagine the Giants will do it as well. The Rams, it's kind of like in basketball. If a guy is great going to his right, make him go to his left, right? Simple coaching 101, take away the strength of a player, make him beat you with his weakness. Well, Kyler Murray, teams have figured out he's very good at running to the right, and that's where he gets most of his yards. So the Rams did this. They overloaded the right side. If you watch the Cardinals game, they overload the right side of the offensive line. They dare him to go the other direction. He's not good at that. He hasn't been able to adjust, and that is killing the Cardinals. Here's how bad this Kyler Murray offense has been. Only the Bengals are gaining fewer yards per play over the last 3 weeks than Arizona. That is just an indictment of Kyler Murray as a professional quarterback. So we are riding the G-Men. 7-0, as we said, against the spread their last 7 games as an underdog as well. Giants 20, Cardinals 16. Arizona's going under 500.
Penny doesn't agree with your agenda radio, but it will go with the New York Giants as well.
I want to point out, Gascon, that I have not heard from you the usual propaganda about Kyler Murray as an MVP candidate. We heard that the first month of the season. You were very excited about Kyler Murray. Lately, not so much.
It's because you
said that out.
It's because you said you put me on mute, so I haven't been able to pass along any kind of text messages or phone calls to you about it. So
the Inca Terror writes in and says, is Gascon actually flipping a coin? I hear no such sound, he points out. Well, we have. Let me tell you something right now. I have this right here. You can see that. That is, there you go. That's Abe right there. There's Abe. Very exciting.
It's a giant penny. Who got that for you? Was it Chris?
Chris in Iowa. Chris in Maricopa, Iowa got that. So thank you for that. Very nice. Scott says DeAndre Hopkins wants out of Arizona. I like it. Let's start that rumor. Can you tweet that out?
Yeah, he had a bunch of tweets earlier in the season about leaving Houston, and all of a sudden he's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, not a lot to brag about these days if you are one DeAndre Hopkins. And how about him being emasculated by that Ram defense last week?
Yeah, but everyone's been emasculated by that defense.
No, but man, people were killing the Rams. Like, why would you trade 2 first-round picks to get Jalen Ramsey? Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a top 5 defense for the next 4 years. Why would you not do that? And that has been the perfect marriage. I mean, the Rams can pump their chest out and laugh right now at all the idiots, the draft nerds, the drafterati that think you have to hold on to every draft pick, and the first-round picks are the holy grail. Good for the Rams. They traded all those draft picks. They're going to be draft picks in the 20s. Big deal. And the Rams, you'd rather have an all-pro player. The odds of you drafting an all-pro player in the first round are not great, believe it or not. I mean, there's a few every year that come out of the first round, but it's not like there's 70% of first-round picks are all-pro players. And Jalen Ramsey's an all-pro player. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Houston-Chicago game. Houston is 4-8. Chicago 5-7. You see some of the numbers up there on the screen, and it's on CBS with Kevin Harlan and Trent Green. They've got the call in this game. Temperatures in the low 30s in Chicago. It's going to be very chilly there around Lake Michigan. Going to feel like it's in the 20s. The wind will be blowing about 13 miles an hour, they say, at Soldier Field. Now, I'm going to take the Texans in this game, and if this was a bowl game, it would be the underachiever bowl, this one, because the end of last week, Chicago, we talked about it earlier, they were on a kamikaze mission. They had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They allowed Detroit then to score twice in the final 2 minutes and 18 seconds of that game. That is an epic choke job. That is jumping off the cliff against the Lions. The Lions. And this continues a trend. Matt Nagy, the embattled coach of the Chicago Bears, his team has lost 4 straight against the spread. Chicago is 1-5 against the spread since last year to this year. They're 9-23. So the last 31 games, going all the way back to 2018, the Bears, if you just bet against the Bears, you would have a tremendous winning percentage. If you bet against the Bears, you'd have a 281 winning percentage, which is terrible. Now, Deshaun Watson is a mortal enemy of the Maller militia. This is a redemption situation for him. He's still trying to get revenge because the Bears didn't draft him. Like, he'd be in any better shape if he was in Chicago than he was in Houston. And remember, it was Butterfingers Watson last week. His fumble at the Indianapolis 1-yard line in the final 2 minutes of that game made me a winner because I took the Colts. I was very happy about that. So I'm going to ride in the cold weather. It's more of a play against Chicago than it is a play on Houston. But the Bears gave up 34 points to the Lions, and they have been averaging the Lions have been averaging 20 points a game without Kenny Galladay, who's still injured for Detroit. And the Bears' offensive line is all messed up here. So I'm going to take the Texans. Texans 28, Bears 23, the final.
Penny is also going with the Houston Texans this one.
All right, so we agree on that. The Texans is a small road favorite. Dan says, what a crap slate of games thus far. Yeah, well, there's some good ones still to come. Yeah, I mean, we got something to look forward to.
They do.
What are you talking about?
Hey,
for those of you in the chat, we'll do the trivia right now. Thumbs up. Remember, thumbs up in the chat right there. Thumbs up. Woo! Look at the moving. So the trivia question: Seattle's DK Metcalf has the most receiving yards on those deep passes. What is a deep pass? You see right there, 20-plus yards. I am second with, what is that, 467. There you go. Who am I? That is the question. What is the answer? So DK Metcalf is number one top deep pass receiver in the NFL, but I am second behind the Seattle Seahawks wide receiver. Who am I? And you can send your answers in, and you see we're partnered with Fanatics. It is the second night of Hanukkah tonight, and you don't have to buy me latkes. You don't have to buy me I don't think you can buy latkes on Fanatics, but you can buy all kinds of hats and shirts,
beanies,
and
jackets.
Exactly. When you have to eat outside because your local politician closed all the restaurants and you have to eat out in the cold northeastern weather or the upper Midwest weather, well, you can buy a nice beanie and a parka as well, but it's all available on Fanatics. And make sure to click the link you see in that description box on the YouTube page. That way we get a little taste. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't cost you anything. They just give us when I say small, I'm talking like that is a very little bit that they will give us. So we do thank you for doing that. In fact, last week, Supermarket Steve, one of the great brigadier generals in the Maller militia, he hooked me up with a Love Me Blue Houston Oilers hat.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty cool. So, yeah, that's good. Old school football there. I love those old logos from back in the day. So anyway, that's the deal. You don't have to buy me anything, but if you do, I won't complain. Size 8, by the way. What size hat do you have, Gascon?
7 1/4.
7 1/4. All right. I got a bigger head than you because I got a bigger brain than you, Gascon. You see how that works?
Yeah, less usage in that brand too.
Wow. All right. Again, DK Metcalf, most receiving yards. You see the question there. Who is second? I am second to DK Metcalf on deep throws. Just Josh in Cincinnati is going with Keenan Allen, one of the Cincinnati bros. Flipper Anderson from Pierre, the alien opiner. I guess we saw the answer, so there's no point in me reading the answers. My God, yes. Can you hold off on hitting the button? Holy crap. I mean, what the hell is? I mean, should you wait a couple of minutes? I mean, the whole point of the bit is to read the answers here. You've ruined the bit.
The nice thing is I can incorporate all those answers into the broadcast, into the stream while you are looking at some copy. So,
wow. I mean, you just ruined my fun. I couldn't read Fred Biletnikoff or Brian Pillman.
I put it on the screen. You can see it. So much for a happy Hanukkah.
Oh, my God. I mean, they're still sending answers in. Pierre, the friend of Alf the Alien Opiner, says, Gascon with an itchy trigger finger. That's true.
Nothing wrong with that.
You would admit that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm more of a sniper. I'm calculated. I wait. I'm methodical. You're a little jittery. You're a little jittery.
A little spray and pray. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, let's move on here. Another game. We've got Denver. I'm just going to forget that this happened. Denver at Carolina. Denver 4-8. Carolina 4-8. This is an even matchup. You can see it on your screen right there. It's on CBS. Andrew Catalan and James Lofton have the call. Now, the Panthers opened a 3-point favorite, and they are favored by 3 in this situation. It's going to be partly cloudy, temperatures in the 60s. There's going to be some rain overnight if you're concerned about the quality of the field at Bank of America Stadium. Now, I'm going to take Broncos in this game. Typically, I love Teddy Bridgewater, but I only love him as a dog. Carolina's not a dog here. They're as a favorite. Panthers are 0-2 as Chalky McChalk, and they have no covers over their last 4 since 2019. I know there were different quarterbacks, different coach last year, Ron Rivera. The paper matchup does favor the Panthers. I'm not going to disagree with that because Denver is without both of their top defensive backs. A.J. Boye and Bryce Callahan are dinged up. And so that being said, though, the Panthers are still going to be without Christian McCaffrey. It's not official. He's got an injured thigh. He is listed as doubtful for the game on Sunday. He's only played 3 games this season. Vic Fangio's Broncos have gone 8-3 against the spread, their last 11 on the road. So they've been very good on the road. They're going to have to clean things up. Again, they're going to have to clean up the mess for your guy, Drew Lock. The last 4 weeks, Drew Lock is barely completing 50% of his passes, and he's averaging 6.5 yards per attempt, has more interceptions than touchdowns. The guy blows. He absolutely blows. So I expect Denver to do what they always have to do with you. When you have an incompetent quarterback, you try to shorten the game with a running game with Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay and run, ground and pound, smash mouth football. So I expect this to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the points. I think these teams are pretty close. So I like getting the points. I'll take the Panthers 19 and the Broncos 17.
Penny's going with the Broncos in this one.
Oh, amazing how the Penny's in line with you on the Denver Broncos. Hard to believe there.
Penny took Kansas City last week. It did not cover.
Frank in LA says if NFL Sunday was a picnic, this game would be the potato salad rotting in the sun all day. That's a great analogy. All right. The idea, this is one of those things. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have picnics with Mama Bear, and I remember the whole picnic thing was like, is the idea. It's one of those things in life where the idea is better than the reality. Yeah. Because the idea is you get a picnic basket, you go out, you lay in the field, you have your food, you look at the park you're laying in or whatever, and then the reality is you have the potato salad out that's flies over it. You've got all kinds of bugs. You've got stray dogs that come over. I mean, it's a hot mess. But in theory, the picnic should be great. You're out in the prairie somewhere and you're having a great. But no, it's all these other variables that enter into the picnic.
And I know you'll appreciate. I know you'll appreciate this, but it's even worse if you did that said picnic at the beach, because then you get sand in your food, sand on your shoes, sand in your car. They have to worry about the damn towel. Everything else just kind of piles up.
Well, it's another reason to be east of the 405.
No.
Point that out.
It's not a good.
By the way, I hear a very prominent member of sports media is moving to east of the 405.
I think
Las Vegas.
he's just expanding his net a little bit, if you will. He's investing in some things that could be profitable for him down the road.
Hey, I would move to Vegas in a heartbeat. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're close. You're only a couple miles away.
Yeah, I pretty much live in the suburbs of Vegas anyway.
Yeah.
Look, we're looking at the Bronco Panther numbers again. All right, let's move on. We got another game. How about Minnesota at Tampa Bay? It is on Fox with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. You want a fun fact? Both of the top broadcasting crews on Sunday football are doing early games. Typically, one does a late game, one does an early game, but both of them are doing early games. This is the Fox game. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman back again for the third time this week. The Buccaneers opened up a 6.5-point favorite. They're favored by 6.5 still. So the line has stayed just under a touchdown. Temperatures in the high 70s, clear skies at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa for this matchup between NFC teams. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings in this game. Mike Zimmer's team back in the fight. They're back in the ring here. They have a path to the playoffs. Keep winning. Keep winning. They got some tough games ahead. This is not an easy game. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, though, 4-0 in their last 4 as a dog, which they are in this game. The dogs are live. And 4-0 against the spread their last 4 road games. They're also 4-0 against the spread their last 4 against a team with a winning record. So if you believe in trends, all of that is good stuff. All of that is good stuff. Now, the Buccaneers are coming off the bye, so they're rested here. But Tom Brady's team has lost 3 of their last 4. He has played – I saw the stat going on. I don't know if you saw this on social media. If you go back to last year – Gardner Minshew has the same numbers as Tom Brady. So the name, it's kind of like when you buy a BMW and you think you're getting a BMW, and then it's got like a different engine in it, and it's got, it's not on the outside it looks like a BMW, but on the inside it's a jalopy. That's what you got right now with Tom Brady. And these lemmings seem to think Brady's all of a sudden he was hanging out with Ponce de Leon in Florida over the break, and he's going to come back and be amazing. I don't buy it. Now, there's still issues for Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and also the defense. People talk about Brady, but what about the defense? The Tampa defense has allowed 27 points per game over the last 5 weeks. That's 9 points more than the Buccaneers defense allowed the early part of the year. One of the reasons we liked Tampa Bay early on was because it appeared that they had a good defense. Well, not anymore. So I'm going to take the offense of Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook. They will be able to score early and often. This will be a back-and-forth type of game, a shootout. Upset City. The Vikings. Blow into your Viking horn. Vikings 36, Bucks 31, the final.
Penny's going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one.
All right, bad news here, Gascon. We've lost now the late-night drug tester. He's got to go to work.
Yes.
What a crappy time. What a crappy time to start work. Horrible.
Where's he? Is he on the East Coast or is he in the Midwest?
I don't know where the guy is. He's the late-night drug tester. He could be anywhere. Frank in LA says Tom Brady is something like 13-4 off a bye week. That tells you what he has done, not what he's going to do. And you would have bet on Brady last week because the Buccaneers lost to the Rams the week before. Tom Brady has an amazing record coming off a loss. And you would have won if you had taken the points, but you would have lost if you had picked the Brady Buccaneers straight up. Pierre, the alien opiner, says cooking with Dalvin. Marquis says Dalvin Cook's going to get 34 carries, I think. I think that's what he said. He misspelled a word. And, if you guys are in the chat, if you're in the room, you can be on the chat there. You can be part of the festivities, part of the fun. And, again, thumbs up. Seems like we have a few more people this week doing it a little earlier, Gascon, than our late-night versions of this.
Yeah, it's typically better to do it when the sun's out and people are awake. I know you like to talk and hang out with the crew that are usually intoxicated or halfway through their REM, but it's all good. I'm not judging.
You give out like left-handed compliments. like all the time.
I'm left-handed. What's wrong with that?
It's not right.
No. All right. Fair enough.
All right. We got to go quicker because I'm going to self-destruct here. So, all right. So that was the Viking Buck game. We're moving on from the Viking Buck game. How about Kansas City at Miami? And the Chiefs, you see 11-1, their record. The Miami Dolphins 8-4. It's on CBS with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. The Chiefs opened up a 7.5-point favorite. They are still a 7.5-point favorite. So this is the other game. Again, the top announcing crews both doing early games. The Chiefs are playing okay. They're not dominating. That game last week with Denver was not a domination situation. Temperatures in the 80s, kickoff, 34% chance of rain during the game at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, down the street from that vagrant, the hard scrabble streets of Weedman hippies, Miami. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. I'm going to take the Dolphins. Now, this is actually one of my best bets. Miami has been the NFL's number one team against the spread. They've got a 9-3 record. That's a .750 winning percentage. They're 12 games against the spread. Brian Flores' Dolphins are also 7-1 straight up and against the spread. Their last 8 games, they rank second in the league in scoring defense. They're holding the opposition to just 17 points per game. Now, they're not going to stop the Chiefs' offense completely. I mean, let's not get crazy here. The Dolphins, though, as we mentioned, 7 of 8 they've covered, 9 of their last 11, 18 of their last 24. They're 13-5 as a dog their last 18 games in the Brian Flores run as Miami coach. He has been wonderful for the gambling market. If you play the underdog, Kansas City, and I keep winning, but I would say they've underachieved. Like, they could be so much better. It's amazing to say that because they're 11-1. You're like, wow, you're just nitpicking. But Patrick Mahomes now, his team, the last 4 games, they are 0-4 against the spread, which means they have not lived up to the gambling market, the expectations. The odds makers are overestimating the Chiefs, and they're taking advantage of the public here that is betting on Kansas City, and the Chiefs have not been able to live up to those high expectations. Also, there's a lot of public money on Kansas City, so it's always good to bet against the public. You win more times than you don't. And Andy Reid's team, if you're looking for a little bit here and a little bit there, they can get better. You look at the red zone. This has become a problem. The Chiefs, despite being able to get into the red zone seemingly at will, they're armed to the teeth, but they rank 24th in the NFL in red zone touchdown conversion rate. So 24th with all those weapons. That's a bad job by them. But I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win the game. I'm taking the Dolphins to cover. It's one of my best bets. I love getting over a touchdown with a good Miami team. Not a great Miami team, a good Miami team. So this will be close. I'm going to believe in Tua Tagovailoa to make some plays on offense, special teams as well, defense. Mahomes, one of those sidearm throws, gets intercepted, get a pick 6. I will take the Chiefs 33 and the Dolphins 30.
Penny's going with Kansas City as well. Does Tua play all 4 quarters in this game? That's the question.
Well, if he sucks at halftime, they'll take him out of the game. Brian Flores has already pretty much said that, right?
That was a thumb injury, wasn't it?
Oh, bullcrap. He sucked, and they took him out of the game.
That's
All
right.
Mr. Luciano writes in from Los Angeles. He says, David looks like he's been hanging out with Half Pint and her John Deere. No, David looks like he's either Johnny Cash reincarnated, the man in black, or he's going to a funeral.
It's good. I like it. Nice jacket, t-shirt underneath. I'm not wearing the old man attire like you're just out on the farm, like you are. It's fine. Old school flannel.
This is my tribute to the Cleveland Browns. I am honoring the Cleveland. What can Brown do for you?
That ship has sailed. Weren't you like a honorary Browns fan like 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
I was, and one of our listeners sent this amazingly ugly hat with the Cleveland Browns mascot on it.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I cannot find the hat. So my plan is when I have to take my mandated time off at the end of the year, I am going to go on a wild goose chase around the Maller Mansion. I've got to find that Cleveland Browns hat because it's so ugly. I don't know where I put it. I got a lot of hats, and I'm going to organize my hats so I do inventory so I have everything accounted for. But I don't know where that hat is. It was so disgustingly ugly. It was like I wanted the Browns hat. I like the one that had the Browns helmet on it. I thought that was a good-looking hat. And so this guy's like, I'll buy a hat. And he bought me a size 8 Browns hat with this like a leprechaun trash man. You know, it's like it's really just bad. It's bad, painful. Bad.
Maybe it's upstairs in the attic with that varmint that still has not left. It's probably died too.
You know, I haven't heard the varmint recently, so I probably did die. I've not heard it running around the Maller Mansion. Max says I would rather have Brian Finley blank in Maller's mouth than have Gascon back on here. Wow,
that's nice.
So with that.
That's glowing. Anyways, we go from that game to Indy and Las Vegas.
No, hold on a sec. Wait a minute. Supermarket Steve, he's the hat benefactor. He sent me a very nice Oilers hat for Hanukkah. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Happy Hanukkah to you. Let's all go to FanDuel by using the link in the description and send Ben a gift. Look at that. No, it's not FanDuel. See, he confused. It's actually Fanatics, which is you can see the partnership. But thank you, Steve. Look at Steven wants me to get more hats. He wants my hat collection to grow. I am called the Mad Hatter of Sports Chatter. All right, late games. Indianapolis, you see it 8-4. Dallas 7-5 on CBS with Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. The Colts opened up a 2.5-point favorite. This line has stayed the same. It's going to be partly cloudy in Vegas, temperatures in the low 50s and high 40s at Allegiant Stadium, which will be empty. Now, I don't like betting favorites, but I like betting against the Raiders right now. So I am going to take Indianapolis as a small road favorite. Colts are 7-3 their last 10 games as a favorite for Coach Frank Reich. And Indy has averaged 27 points per game on the road. They've been a very efficient offensive team on the road. Not that there's really much difference between home and road this year other than planes, trains, and automobiles. And also, Indy 4-2 against the spread on the road. I'm not a big Phillip Rivers guy. He's not my preferred quarterback, but the Colts defense is pretty good. And the Raiders, more importantly, are injured. The Raiders, they're going the wrong direction. The fact that would have been the most embarrassing loss in Raider history last week. Would have been, could have been, should have been if it wasn't for Greg Williams. You need a Hail Mary, which was essentially a Hail Mary, a broken defense to beat the Jets. Are you bleeping kidding me? My God. The Raiders, though, their defense has allowed 71 points the last 2 weeks against the Falcons and the Jets. 71. And Derek Carr needing that fluke play to beat New York. Unbelievable. Now, the Raiders are dinged up. You've got Josh Jacobs, who's got a bad ankle. He's still damaged. The Raiders are down several players in the secondary. If you look at the injury report, Jonathan Abram, Trent Brown, and Josh Jacobs are all questionable to play in the Colts. Now, play against the Colts. Now, some of them might play. I don't think all of them will play. Even if they do, it doesn't matter much. I'm going to take the Colts 30 and the Raiders 20.
Penny's going with Indy as well. Going with the Colts.
All right, so Indianapolis is the pick there. And remember, thumbs up time now for a trivia. You better answer quick because my man Gascon's got a quick trigger finger. And you can go to the description box and help us out there. Fanatics is a partner of this Benny versus the Penny. So you go on Fanatics there and you can help us out. Buy anything. The holidays are coming up. It's Hanukkah right now. If you're of the Jewish faith, if you're atheist, it's a holiday every day. And Christmas is coming up at the end of the month. So, hey, have out there. Go to Fanatics and get a hat or a shirt, whatever you want. And they have everything you could possibly want. And great deals, too, on shipping and everything else. Patrick Mahomes, he has thrown 31 touchdowns and 2 interceptions so far. The fewest amount of interceptions with at least 30 touchdowns is 4. It was done by me. It was done by me. Who am I? Again, you got to go quick here because my guy Gascon has a quick trigger finger, and we'll wait for the answers to come in. So be patient here. All right? Patience will win the race, Gascon. Tortoise and the hare, okay? You can be the tortoise. You don't have to be the hare.
Now, you've gotten a collection of hats. Have you gotten any football or college football related pants, shorts, socks, anything like that?
No, I haven't got any of this. I'm mostly about the hats.
Okay.
I'm mostly about the hats at this point. I'm the Mad Hatter. I like the obscure college hats like we got from Kentucky K and Kentucky J.
Yeah, Western Kentucky.
Right? The Hilltoppers. I thought that's pretty cool. But yeah, I open up my hat game. You know what I love about the college hats? People get so pissed off. Like I had a listener in the Carolinas that sent me a Kentucky Wildcats hat, and I wore that. I've worn that a few times. It's a great hat, and like people get so offended. Like, how could you possibly? What are you doing? And then when I wear the Iowa Hawkeyes hat,
oh yeah,
I had a guy from Nebraska. Like, I'm going to send you a Nebraska hat. This is not right. He never did, but. And then I've had Michigan people. What are you doing? What are you wearing there? Wisconsin people upset because I'm wearing a Golden Gophers hat. Hey, listen, I got no skin in the game. I like good looking hats. Now there's a few hats I will not wear, like the Lakers or the Astros or the 49ers or the Giants. But other than that, I'm good. I'm talking baseball Giants, by the way. Football Giants, I have no problem with. All right, some of the answers here.
I was gonna say you're typically safer too with going some of the obscure programs like out of the MAC, out of the WAC, the Mountain West Conference, Conference USA. Like those are some of the easier schools to get away with as opposed to the Power 5 where you get the blowhards and diehards.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Tornado Freak, the Tornado Freak writes and he says Steve McNair is the answer.
Too soon.
Number of people going with Tiny Lister as his answer. Dusty Rhodes from Dan. Buck Rogers, guessed by Just Josh, one of the Cincinnati bros we've got. Who else do we have? Dan is going with Chad Pennington. Kyle Orton was guessed by, who is it? Marquise. Queen Roxanne from beautiful Colorado. And I still remember that conversation me and Queen Roxanne had. We were going to have a big Super Bowl, not a Super Bowl, we were going to have an NFL draft party. Yeah. We were going to have a Mather meet and greet at Vegas, and Queen Roxanne was setting all that up. And then this dopey COVID thing happened, and we couldn't make it happen. So we have to do that at some point here with Queen Roxanne and all the guys in Vegas, and we'll have a great time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I don't know when that'll be, but we'll probably need a certificate of vaccination to get into any of the buildings.
Yeah. I don't know about that. And Fremont Street, the people on Fremont Street, they need all kinds of vaccinations. If you've been to Fremont Street in Vegas. Mr. Luciano's going with David Gascon as his answer. All right, what's the answer? Reveal answers.
Oh, now you want the answers? All of a sudden, you want the answers?
Yeah, exactly. Click the button, dummy. All right, there it is. Tom Brady. Again, the fewest amount of interceptions with at least 30 touchdowns was 4, and it was Tom Brady when he had 36 touchdowns. So Mahomes has a shot of breaking that mark the way that he is going. Next up for us, let's get back to the games. Green Bay 9-3 at Detroit. This is an NFC North matchup. It's on Fox. Adam Amin and Mark Schlaveth have the call.
Stink.
And I'm going to take the Packers. Now, I'm taking the Lions. Rather. The Packers are favored, is what I meant to say. Packers are favored they open at 7. They're up to 9. They're a 9-point favorite. Now, this is in a dome at Ford Field, but the people who have to live outside Ford Field in Detroit, temperatures in the 30s and a typically overcast upper Midwestern day in the Motor City. I am going to take the Lions, as I indicated earlier, with interim head coach Darrell Bevell. Did you see that Adrian Peterson said the Lions are having fun? They're having fun. Whee! Woo! Whoop-de-dip. like that's actually a shot at Darrell Bevell, and it's in a weird way, it's a backhanded compliment of Matt Patricia. Is it supposed to be fun? Like, it's a job. Why does it have to be fun? You know, I don't get that. It's supposed to be a little bit of work, yes?
Well, you love what you do. You never work a day in your life, right? That's the old.
Well,
saying.
The line, you got to put some work in. The Lions have been lackadaisical. They did play with a different bit of vim and vigor. They had a little bit of heart. They rallied from 10 points down. Let's be honest here. A lot of that was just the incompetence of Mitch Trubisky for the Bears last week. So Detroit, they would get early leads. Beginning of the year, they get early leads, and then they disappear. They'd vanish. So this is the case where they fell behind and they came back. So does that have a lifespan? Does the Darrell Bevell interim coach thing, the good vibrations, does that continue? The Packers beat the Lions by more than a touchdown. If you go back to the last 11 games, only one time head-to-head. That was the last meeting earlier this year. So this is a revenge spot. Now, Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, for the zillionth time getting together, Detroit should score against Green Bay. The Packers defense, on the road, they are allowing almost 29 points per game, fourth worst in the NFL as a road defense. And the Lions did have 460 yards of offense against the Bears defense last week, and that was without Kenny Galladay. Green Bay's got some problems on the offensive line. So I am going to take the Packers to win. This is actually one of my best bets. I love the Lions at home, getting down in a divisional game. Packers 31, Lions 26. That's a cover. I'll take the points and I'll win the money with Detroit.
Penny likes the Green Bay Packers in this one. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go. All right, we're over an hour now, Gascon. We are past the 1 hour mark. We'd like to alert all our affiliates down the line that we are past an hour here.
Considered past safe harbor time, right?
Now, are we allowed to drink and curse right now? I'm going to have a drink right now. Here we go.
I don't know the last time. Oh, what are you drinking, tea? You're not really a water guy during the daytime, are you?
Whiskey. Hard whiskey.
Yeah,
all right.
Out of a straw.
The New York Jets 0-12, Seattle 8-4. You see some of the gambling numbers right there, powered by eCamp, thanks to Fanatics as well. And this game on CBS with Greg Gumbel and Rich Gannon. They've got the call. Seattle, a rather eye-opening favorite. They opened a 14.5-point favorite in this game. The Seahawks are favored by 13.5. Temperatures in the high 40s. This is classic Seattle weather. Now, I like Seattle. Some of the people that live in Seattle I could do with that, but I like Seattle. It's the whole vibe and the big buildings, the skyline, the beautiful, right on the water. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
But 80% chance of rain at Lumen Field in Seattle. They just changed the name of that. I'm taking the Jets. I'm taking the Jets again. They begin life with Frank Bush, the Bush push. He's the new interim defensive coordinator as Greg Williams was annexed from the Jets locker room. I don't think that's going to matter much, obviously. New York is 0-12, but they have been good for the gambling market recently. In fact, the last 6 games, they've shown a little more pep in their step, the Jets. They're 4-2 against the spread the last 6 games. So you would have won money over the last month and a half by betting on the Jets. And the other thing here I look at, you got a 13-plus point favorite, and almost 90% of the money is on Seattle. Are you kidding me? Right? The Seahawks defense has started to wake up from hibernation. Like, they're actually 8th in the NFL the last 3 weeks, but now the offense has fallen apart. It's one thing after another. Russell Wilson, who was playing like an MVP the first month of the season, the last 4 games, has a passer rating below Mitch Trubisky and Jared Goff, 87.2. The Seahawks have had 4 straight games scoring 20 23 best offense. Seattle has been bursting at the seams with the offensive line and even the secondary. Even though they played better lately, they have, for the most part, been an obscenity, especially that offensive line. Now, I think Seattle wins this game, but I don't think they win this game and cover the spread. I'll take the Seahawks 24 and the Jets 14. Your final.
Penny's going with the home team in this one, going with the Seattle Seahawks. What do you think? Do you think any team takes a flyer on Marshawn Lynch since he said he'd be down and go to a contender this year?
No. Let me tell you about Marshawn. I got a story for you about Marshawn. So when I was in Seattle last year, I had a great time, Mallard Man March in Seattle. I went in anticipation of going to the 49ers Seahawks game. Yep. The Seahawks had brought Marshawn Lynch back. So we had, and Robbie the Mariner fan can attest to this, we had a Mallard meet and greet that was at this like fire-themed bar restaurant in Seattle. And it was a really cool place. I was indoor. But it was pretty cool. And my man JJ from Renton showed up, and he's like, hey, I just ran into Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch had a party right next at the establishment, like a block over from where we were in Seattle. Marshawn was having a party the night before the game with the 49ers the next day. But no, he's done. The last 2 years, I think he played like 6 games for the Raiders a couple years ago and 1 game for the Seahawks last year. The idea of Marshawn Lynch is better than the reality of him at this particular point. So that's just the case. Pierre, the friend of Alfie Alien Opiner, says, Ben, who would you rather have as a fantasy quarterback this week? Mr. Unlimited or Justin Herbert?
Man, what a turn he threw up last week.
Yeah, you're playing the Jets. Actually, Justin Herbert quietly has not been good for like a month. That wasn't just last week.
Well, I just meant in terms of the fantasy productivity.
Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't score. It's hard to have any fantasy when you don't score. Rich says, gag on. When is that rented suit jacket due back?
Pretty hilarious, Rich. Why don't you come get it and return it for me?
All right, tough guy. Calm down, tough guy. The Florida fisherman is live and well. Just Josh says the better Jets are the Paul McCartney version. He says. NorCal says, I'm going to send you a San Francisco Giants hat and a Niners hat. The only way I'll wear one of those is if I lose a bet. That's the only way I'll wear one of those, if I lose a bet. All right, next up, the aforementioned Justin Herbert and the Chargers. You see the numbers there. Chargers 3-9, Atlanta 4-8. It's on Fox with the television voice of the Dodgers, Joe Davis, and Brock Heward. They have the call here on Fox. The Falcons are a 2.5-point road favorite. The Chargers opened a 1.5-point favorite. Temperatures in the high 60s and cloudy at the SoFi Stadium in the hood in Inglewood. And I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. I mentioned Justin Herbert not playing well. Just to follow that up, to have some confirmation bias that I am right, and I'm going to brag here. I did a little bit of my homework. Now, early on, Justin Herbert was playing very well. He was balling. He was getting it done. But lately, he has been cringe-worthy, right? The last 3 weeks here, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a passer rating below 80, and he's yards per attempt 5.7. That's almost 1.5 yards below average quarterback play. And we know Anthony Lynn is hanging on by a thread. And this is really a great litmus test. How much fight do the Chargers have? You very rarely get blown out back-to-back games. 45-0 beat down by the Patriots. Special teams meltdown. Atlanta is okay, but let's not get carried away here with Raheem Morris. They're 4-3 straight up and against the line. Since Dan Quinn, medicine man, got fired, he got bushwhacked as the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. The the Falcons will be able to score some points in this game. The Chargers are dinged up. So Matt Ryan and his guys will be able to matriculate the ball down the field. Chargers are 0-6 against the spread since they got off to a 5-1 start. Longest active against the spread losing streak in the NFL. Belongs to your team that should still be in San Diego. Now, I'm going to pick the Chargers, as I said, but I am going against a trend. All right, teams coming off a 40-point loss are 0-6-1. This is since 2015 against the spread. 0-6-1, their next game. But I say the Chargers win this game outright. I will take the Chargers 30 and the Atlanta Falcons 28.
Penny is going with ATL in this one, going with the Atlanta Falcons. Man, I just can't believe how bad they are for how good they've been offensively and defensively, the Chargers.
Well, it's really the special teams more than anything. Like the defense, they've got guys hurt, but that's always the thing. Nobody ever thinks, and I know it's not cool to talk about special teams,
right?
But this is one of the things that Belichick has mastered over the years. Like the Patriots had good defenses, pretty good offenses, but the special teams,
excellent.
Like a lot of, I mean, that's the event. And you think, well, you're not, even if you don't score touchdowns on punt returns and kickoff returns, the field position game, where you have a shorter field and that whole thing is massively important. Who else do we have here? Let's see. Dan says SoFi Stadium. I thought California teams had to play elsewhere. Not yet. They should be.
Yeah.
They should be, but they're not.
Coming to
let's keep going here. Let's go to Philadelphia, the land that Tony Bruno built, one of our forefathers, the great Tony Bruno, one of our forefathers in sports radio. New Orleans 10-2 at Philly, 3-8-1. You see the numbers there. Kevin Burkhardt and Daryl Johnston, the Moose, have the call on Fox. Now, it's a 6.5-point road favorite. They're favored by 7. It's going to be partly cloudy. Temperatures in the 50s at Lincoln Financial Field. This is one of the few big favorites I'm going to take. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints in this game. So that is the pick. It's actually going to be one of my best bets. New Orleans has rallied around the quarterback, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's not that good. They played a bunch of lightweights. And the defense for New Orleans, I realize the numbers are a little skewed because one of the games was against the candy salesman, but they're allowing less than 10 points per game the last 3 weeks. So very impressive defense. And Taysom Hill has not been particularly great. He's been all right, but he is 3-0 straight up and against the spread as the starting quarterback for the Saints. The only thing that gives me pause here, and I'm going to make it my best bet anyway because I'm a glutton for punishment, but that New Orleans team plays the Chiefs next week, which means this is what's known as a trap game. You look ahead because you're not going to get excited to play Philadelphia. You're going to get excited to play Patrick Mahomes. That's a big game for the Saints next week. So that scares me a little bit, but I've done the arithmetic. I've done the Maller math. And while I believe Jalen Hurts should start, I don't think he's going to play very well. The coaching staff in Philly, I did a monologue about this. They are setting him up to fail. They could have started him against a really soft defense, get his legs underneath him. He's going against a top 5 defense, and the guy's not even smart enough to wear the right baseball hat. Did you see he wore an Astros hat in Philadelphia the other day, a cheating Astros hat? Bad job by you. Bad job by you. So I would be shocked if the Eagles score even 20 points in this game. And I'm relatively confident on the ground and with special teams that the Saints will be able to score. Philly's going to give up a bunch of yards on the ground. The locker room is also divided. There is the faction that thinks Carson Wentz should still be playing. You got some Carson Wentz loyalists. And listen, the Eagles are just a verkakta team is what they are. And so I'm going to take the Saints 28 and the Eagles 17. It's one of my best bets.
Penny's going to tell you on that one, going with the New Orleans Saints.
By the way, you know what the word verkakta means? It's a Yiddish term. You know what it means?
No, how do you spell it?
I can't spell most Yiddish words. I know how to pronounce them. It is verkakta is another way of saying we can curse, right? We're allowed to curse?
Yes.
shit. Now, from now on, I used to use this. I went out of my lexicon. So from now on, when I want to call a player or a team shitty, I'm just going to say verkakta, because we're not allowed to say the word shit on Fox Sports Radio. So I'm just going to use verkakta. That's my new go-to phrase. And you know what that is, Gascon? That's a workaround. That's like a workaround situation. Yeah.
So you call it workaround. I think it's skirting the issue on having anyone else push a dump button on you. So it's good to go. So that's good. That's one of how many words do you know in Yiddish slang that are curse words?
I know a fair amount, because when I was a kid, my grandfather, he spoke Yiddish a lot. It's like he would tell stories about people he hated at temple or whatever, or people, and he would curse. And I picked up a few of the words just being around. I mean, he died years ago, but I picked up a lot of the words. Verkakta is a pretty good one. Some of these have become like chutzpah is kind of mainstream, right? That's not a curse word. That just, you got a lot of nerve and all that stuff. I'm trying to think, like nudnik is like an ass. You call someone a nudnik, they're an ass. That you could use. Tuchus is obvious. That's obvious. Your buttocks. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, you can say the F word if you want, but that's enough. All right, I don't want to kvetch here. That makes me plain, Gascon.
All right, let's go.
We have a trivia question.
One last time. Yes, sir.
Last chance. Remember. Slow trigger finger, Gascon. I am averaging a pedestrian 5.1 air yards per attempt this season, which is last in the league. In fact, I am so bad, it is the lowest mark by any qualified passer since at least 2006. So pretty bad. That is pretty bad. What answer? You guys got to hurry up. Gascon's got a quick trigger finger in the chat.
Speaking of which, guys, don't forget the show. We've partnered with Ecamm, but also Fanatics. So if you guys want to support the show, click on the description down there. There's a link to Fanatics. You can buy any merchandise on there. It gives a little kickback to us as far as the affiliate program goes. But a lot of good stuff, good stocking stuffers, and of course, the right time of the year with Christmas and Hanukkah and whatnot, just before 2021 gets underway.
And while I wait for those answers, I just want to point out that I'm not bragging, and I don't want to jinx anything, but this has been a very smooth broadcast up until this point. Like, the quality is actually professional quality all of a sudden.
Is that your workaround to saying thank you? Like, I know that's not in your lexicon either.
Well, no, I'm really patting myself on the back because I finally figured out I stopped using my AOL modem, my AOL dial-up modem.
I don't know. People have been making some comments about your audio.
My audio's fine. How dare you? All right. Let's see some of the answers. Robbie, the Mariner fan's going with Sam Darnold. NorCal is going to send me that ugly Giants hat. Says alligator arms is the answer. George is going with Al Bundy. Dan says kvetching is a Hanukkah tradition. That is true. Mike McMahon, guessed by Marcus. Who else? We have Trent Dilfer, tossed out by Trot Dog. The great Art Schleister. You can bet on Art Schleister. That's guessed by Rich. Flunky Flashman is going with the Brooklyn Brawler as his answer. Haydenfield says it's the great Heath Schuler. Boy, I thought Heath Schuler was going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. Boy, he sucked. He was terrible, man. Tornado is going with Ben Roethlisberger as his answer.
Almost spelled it right.
All right. To spell it right. I knew what he meant.
No, I know. I'm saying he almost said it right. I said he almost spelled it. It's a hard name to spell. I'm just saying he almost spelled it right.
I think you needed an I instead of the E there. Well, you put the answer up too quick, Gascon. Put it back up. Come on.
Oh, there you go. How about that?
There you go. All right. What's the answer? There you go. Come on. Put it up. Hit the button. There you go. Well, let's see.
There's
the magic button.
There's a few ways that production elements work. So oftentimes when you're looking at certain things, they're timed out at a specific measure. So that way when everything else follows it, It's time sensitive. So yeah, Alex Smith.
Okay. Alex Smith. All right. Alex Smith. It's just trying to figure out how we make the hot dogs. That's all. All right. Now it's almost like we set this up, because the next game we are going to do is Alex Washington football team 5-7 against the Arizona 49ers at 5-7 as well, and both these teams very even here in the Valley of the Sun. It's on Fox with Chris Myers and Greg Jennings. The 49ers open up a 4.5-point favorite. They are favored by 3. Temperatures in the 60s, partly cloudy at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. I am going to take the Washington football team getting 3 points in this game. Now, I hope I'm not being just reactionary, but Washington's been a pretty good defensive team all year. They're better defensively than the 49ers are, and they're about the same offensively. I think the Redskins, the former Redskins, are that good on offense, but it's about an even matchup on offense. So I'll take the Washington defense. And the only thing that gives me pause here is, does Washington start smelling themselves after that win over the Steelers in the Monday Night Football game, ending Pittsburgh's dreams of a perfect season? I expect Ron Rivera's team to stay guarded here in this situation. The defense stupefied and really petrified Ben Roethlisberger in the second half of that game last week. And so Washington's got the 4th best defense on the season. Some of that is playing crappy teams in the NFC East. I will admit that. But the 49ers have Nick Mullins. He sucks. And the defense was validated to a point by the way they were able to take advantage of Pittsburgh. They had a lot of drop passes, the Steelers, in that game. And as we gave you the numbers on Alex Smith, he hasn't played particularly well. He's got a motley crew of skill players around him. It's a bogged down team, but it's been a team that's been competitive, and they've been able to win a fight in the thick of the divisional race. So I am going to take Washington in this game, getting points with the more confident team, the better defensive team. I like it. Washington's built a little streak here based on defense, with Cincinnati, Dallas, and Pittsburgh having been held to an average of 14 points and less than 282 yards per game. And the other factor, and we gave this the other day on the radio, I believe we mentioned this on the radio, since adding Alex Smith back in 2018, Washington is 9-5 when he starts a game. When anyone else starts a game, any of those other jamokes start for the team formerly known as the Redskins, they are 6-24. So it's a stunning juxtaposition from Alex Smith to anybody else. Washington will win this game outright. They'll get to 6-7. Washington 24, the 49ers 20.
And the penny's going with the Washington football team as well. Alex Smith for the win.
All right, Steve, Supermarket Steve says, Benny versus the Penny is coming down to the final weeks here. I think Ben is losing some games. I'm not losing games. I am not losing games. I had a great week. You weren't here at the start, Supermarket Steve, but I did a great job early. We talked about it last week. Come on. All right, let's get to the next game here, Gascon. We got to hurry up. I got to go play Santa. Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh 11-1. Buffalo 9-3. You see some of the gambling numbers on your screen right there. It's on NBC, but not Al Michaels. I am told that Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth are going to call this game, as Al Michaels does not want to go to Buffalo. I don't blame him. The line, Steelers opened up. They are favored no longer. Buffalo is a 1-point favorite. Typical Buffalo weather without lake effect snow, though. No lake effect snow. Overcast, and this is a night game. Temperatures around freezing and below freezing at New Era Field in Orchard Park, New York. And I am going to take, here we go, Buffalo. Here we go, Buffalo. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. Now, first of all, this is obviously a bounce-back week for Pittsburgh. They collapsed in the second half. And so you figure they're going to play a lot better here. They're going to play a complete game. But the competition is better. And are they just going to pretend that didn't happen? Mike Tomlin's team needs some kind of intervention because it's coming apart. They've got what's known as popcorn problems right now because you've got injuries piling up on defense. You've got, despite the 11-1 record, you've got a one-dimensional offense. They cannot run the ball. It's all on Ben Roethlisberger in the passing game, which is fine if the Steelers did not have receivers that have hands of stone and continue to drop passes. This is an alarming period of time, especially that defense. They went to hell quickly, and the Steelers already ruled out Joe Hayden. He's got a concussion. One of their linebackers is also out. So they got, now, by my count, 4 defensive starters from a couple of weeks ago are not playing in this game. You only have 11 guys on defense. Good luck. And Josh Allen, I'm not a big Josh guy. Robbie's down with it. Josh Allen, as an underdog since last season, the Bills are – but defensive team in Buffalo – this is a game the Bills have had circled for several weeks. It doesn't have the same wow factor because Pittsburgh's lost the game. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to continue to move the chains here. I'm going to take Buffalo 26 and Pittsburgh 20. We'll find it.
Penny's also going with Buffalo as well. Going with the home team, the Bills.
All right, here we go. Next up for us, last game, Gascon. Last game. We reached the end of the road here. The end of the road. Exciting. There we go. You got the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns. You see the Ravens 7-5. The Browns come in at 9-3. It's on ESPN with Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Louis Riddick. What are you laughing at, Gascon?
The Mallard jinx is in full effect. Robbie, the Mariner fan, was really pissed off that you took the Bills. And prior to that, your glowing remarks about your said smooth broadcast has come to a buffering end. But yes, continue, please.
See, I got to tell you, I don't give a crap about the audio. I'm all about the video. And let me tell you something. I look marvelous. I look marvelous on the video. That's all I care about. I don't care. It's not radio. Radio, I'm worried about audio and radio.
You got some folks that said you're too skinny now to be Santa. So what's up with that?
You want to fatten me up, man? How dare you? No, I'll be all right. You know, maybe Santa had the corona. I don't know. He lost some weight. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, all right. You jackass. I'm going to take the Ravens are favored by 1. I'm going to take the Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot in this game. Partly cloudy, temperature at 37 degrees at First Energy Stadium on Monday night in beautiful northern Ohio. I got Baltimore here. Even after the win at Tennessee, the Browns, their last 7 games this year, they are 2-5 against the spread. I do not trust these guys against better teams. I realize that's pretty silly considering they just beat Tennessee. But Baker Mayfield has been the equivalent of projectile vomit against the Ravens in particular. In 5 games against Baltimore in his career, he's got 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a passer rating of 81. And the Browns have won some of those games, but it's mostly because of the defense and the special teams and all that. And I don't see it changing much. I know Cleveland's going to do what they always try to do and establish the run with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's just football 101. They'll do all the grunt work, Hunt and Chubb, and try to hide the quarterback in Baker Mayfield. The Browns have a -15 scoring differential this season. That is the worst by any team with at least 9 wins through 12 games in NFL history. So they are the worst good team in NFL history after 12 games in a season. And the Browns have some injuries. I saw Austin Hooper, the tight end there. He has a neck problem. He's on the injury report. He did not practice today on Friday. Now, the Ravens have covered 5 of the last 6 at Cleveland. I love betting on Baltimore against bad teams. Now, this is not a bad team record-wise, Cleveland, but Baltimore's got their number. And Lamar Jackson, you can be very confident in his career, he has dominated Cleveland. In fact, the Browns, they have just been not able to slow down Lamar Jackson. He's got the most touchdown passes, the highest quarterback rating against any opponent he's played 3 or more times is against Cleveland. So Lamar's going to have success here, even though I'm not high on him the way he's played this year because he's really struggled with the passing game. But I'm going to take the Ravens 34 and the Browns 27.
Penny's going with the home team, going with the Cleveland Browns in this one.
All right, beautiful. And that is it. The end of the road. We have reached a dead end here, Gascon. And we have the podcast. And on the Saturday podcast, 5th hour, a never-before-told story about a wellness check. Over the last week, I made a phone call to a member of the Maller Militia off air to check on their health. And I will tell you who that was and how that conversation went down. It was a very surreal conversation. And those are exclusive details you will only get on the 5th hour podcast.
Now, you've had over the decades, you've had callers call in that have either passed out or just fallen asleep while being on hold. Have you ever considered doing a wellness check live on radio?
Oh, calling them. Yeah, the problem is I don't know that we're allowed to do that. We used to be able to do that in the old days.
Oh.
But I think now you have to ask for permission if you put somebody on the air. So those pesky rules. But back in the old days, when I first got into the business, we could call anybody up, just put them on the air. There were no rules. It was like the Old West. So we probably could still do it anyway. But so that's the deal. Just Josh is going to go have dinner.
It's good. Have a steak, have some bourbon.
I can't drink any water anymore until I'm done playing Santa because I can't. It's very hard to get out of the Santa costume, Gascon, when you have to take a whiz. So I can't drink any, and I'm not going to eat because I have my gallbladder thing. When I have my gallbladder taken out, my stomach's a little testy after I fast. So I'm on a hunger diet until tonight. I'm going to go big. Tonight I'm going big, but I have to wait until all this is over. So.
All right. Well, don't forget the show. This one will be available here in the next couple hours on demand with game stamps, obviously for each of your selections. To summarize, you took Jacksonville, Cincinnati, the Giants, Houston, Denver, Minnesota, Miami, Indianapolis, Detroit, the Jets, Chargers, Saints, Washington, Buffalo, and Baltimore.
That is correct. And I just want you to know I still have, before we leave here, it's still in my office, in my studio here. So you can see that here.
Oh, Parker the Snowman. Snow Dog.
Parker the Snow Dog. That's a celebrity dog right there, Parker in Colorado. He's the unofficial mascot of your Denver Broncos.
That's not bad.
Yes, and friend of the Parker's been in studio. Probably as much as I've been in studio.
Yeah, that's true. Different times. All right, Santa Maller, it's been a fun ride, and you go from 11-4 to week 14.
I got to practice. All right. Have you been naughty or nice? All right. Anyway, listen, have a great weekend, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tell a friend. Get those numbers up. And remember, Fanatics, you don't have to buy us anything. Not that we'll complain if you do, but buy some for your loved ones. Buy some for your friends, and you can support the podcast that way. Make sure you do it by clicking the link, and you have 7 days after you click the link to buy something on Fanatics, and we'll get a little credit for it. So have a great day. We will catch you next time. Aloha.